We got our first look at 60-year-old Midwestern Hal Jordan in his Green Lantern suit, devoid of green, and also not being made out of willpower, and also not fitting him. So of course, an account that mocks war crimes decided to blame Zack Snyder. Let's just dive into this piece by piece. First of all, yeah, Hal Jordan looks bad. It's not great that DCU-themed verified fandom accounts are the ones now monetizing hating their own DCU, but as I've said repeatedly, these people do not actually like the DCU or James Gunn or any specific continuity of DC. They just really like being assholes and have chosen DC as the overall theme for their asshole party, which they intend to continue for as long as they can host it. Now, Justice Gang here decided to use AI to make a meme blaming Zack Snyder for a James Gunn production and also pretending that Guy Gardner's costume looks good. Don't use motherfucking AI for anything. I am morally better than you if you do that. Everyone who doesn't use AI is morally better than the people who use AI. And before we break down the fact that Justice Gang and many others were celebrating the deaths of children to promote the Superman movie, let's talk about how fucked up Guy Gardner's fit is. It's so bad they had to turn all the lights off in both Peacemaker and Lanterns when they used this character. By the way, he's canonically a homophobe, so it's weird that he's the linchpin of this entire franchise. Not strange considering that this is a James Gunn franchise, but strange that people in 2026 are saying this is good. But they're the same people who said you have to be Team War Crimes or you're a Snyder cultist. And I'm sorry, but saying you have to be Team War Crimes or you're in a cult kind of sounds like you're the one in the cult. Anyway, I don't understand. We have old Hal Jordan here, and if we were already going to do that, why not just use Nathan Fillion, the dude that's been fan cast as Hal Jordan ever since he did Firefly, that show by that dude who abused a bunch of people on the Justice League set. So, why is this not a thing? If you're doing old, Nathan Fillion is younger than Kyle Chandler. By the way, I can't Google Kyle Green Lantern to look up Kyle Rayner anymore. Thanks, Lindenhoff. But let's say you have to do Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. He's decided this is his new favorite character, and he wants Guy Gardner to be old. Just fucking AARP old. Okay, so a character whose defining aesthetic characteristics are orange hair and a green vest, and you give him a black and white plastic costume and blonde hair. Fuck you, man. But on the topic of color, why are we saying that Zack Snyder didn't give his lanterns color when this is what his Green Lanterns looked like? The one from the Dark Ages has more color, uses his ring more, and uses more power and comes from space than anyone in the entire DCU thus far, cumulatively, that has called themselves a lantern, no green, someone called Timberlake. But war crimes, that's why we're here, right? It's not just that Tom King is overseeing this, who has bragged about doing war crimes and planning the torture and suffering of people in the Middle East after 9/11, but it's the fact that Justice Gang here decided to monetize with that little blue check mark the deaths of men, women, and children in Palestine to promote a movie that was written by a war criminal and that James Gunn explicitly said would never be political, and that most of the cast of said film are pro-killing the children. And they were like, popcorn bucket, that's activism. Or worse, dead people, we're not even going to pretend to advocate for them. We're just going to use their real-life deaths and tragedies, their daily occurrence of suffering, as a way to play pretend that we exist in this movie. By the way, a movie wherein Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner kill people, and then when they're interviewing Peacemaker, in between the homophobic comments, talk about how they don't like to kill people in the Justice Gang. Which is crazy because they both kill, and Green Lantern especially is supposed to have a kill limiter in their ring. All of them are. But this is also a universe where white Hal Jordan gets to decide when black John Stewart gets to be a Green Lantern. That's never been a thing in the comics. And I know they're going to retcon this fucking ugly-ass suit that has somehow faded. The cosmic suit meant to survive cosmic radiation. They're going to say, well, John, I kept it because I wanted to think about Earth, because I'm going to be Space Yondu. I'm going to be a rat bastard piece of shit, and then I'm going to die after mocking you and making your life hell. And you go, you were a real one, Hal. And then John Stewart becomes the Green Lantern, and he'll use his powers for, a scene, and people are like, whoa, best thing ever, better than Zack Snyder. Ooh. When I want to remind you, the only way these people can allow themselves to criticize the DCU is when they pretend it's Zack's fault. I know this is how it will work because it is how it has worked since Zack left in 2017, and it's how it has continued to work. It never stopped. It's what they did with The Flash. The Flash is the best movie since The Dark Knight. Now it's Zack Snyder's fault that it exists, even though he had nothing to do with it, and it actively undercuts every plan he ever had for the franchise. Also, it's not even set in the same continuity as his Justice League, and Warner Brothers was explicitly clear about that from day one. It will always be Whedon continuity. But then, suddenly they actually like it. It's a misunderstood masterpiece because he's going to do Brave and the Bold. And actually, The Flash proves that it's better and more inherently fun and comic booky than anything Matt Reeves has made, because Matt Reeves sucks now. At least that's what they're being told to say by people who understand that Warner Brothers will only fund one continuity at a time. Multiverse was a scam, and you have to fight to get the thing you want out. I swear, decades of being told comic accuracy matters, color matters. You have to make them young and fun and playful, and they need to embrace the cosmic side of everything. And then they don't even have enough funding to turn the lights on when they film scenes with geriatric, homophobic, racist versions of your favorite childhood characters who all hate each other. And now we're making AI slop from accounts that monetize mocking dead kids and genocide to blame Zack Snyder for a James Gunn project, which is overseen by Lindenhoff, a man James Gunn compared to Satan. I'll just leave you with the Grant Morrison quote. I don't understand why people who hate the concepts of these characters are adapting these characters. These guys are edgy. They make everything literally too dark to see, but also tonally dark. They are ashamed of the source material. They're everything people pretended Zack Snyder was, and that's why they make these fuck-ass AI photos, trying to blame Zack for a James Gunn, Damon Lindelof product. And again, I'm losing my willpower to continue pretending the DC fandom is worth salvaging. I think maybe we should just fire this bitch off into the sun, or leave it in the Midwest to fade like Hal Jordan's suit that doesn't fit him. Oh my god, this is so dumb.